Hello. You know, you kind of forget that you're wearing these things sometimes, and someone will come to the door and you answer it and you wonder why you're getting these strange looks. That's probably the reason why. Anyway, remember I said I was going to do compartmentalised videos for the Hellcat, part 1 the cockpit, part 2 the wheel well, blah blah blah. Well, it hasn't quite turned out that way, best laid plans and all that, in that I've kind of started on a variety of different things all at once, namely the wheel wells, the gun bays and the engine. And halfway through doing the engine, I kind of decided that I wanted to sort of do a little bit extra detailing, and have kind of got stuck in about the fuselage, as you can see, and I'm going to show the area forward of the firewall, which would be the fuel tank and all the crap that sits in there, and also the engine. Remember, I was going to use these resin engines that come with the Royale class, which obviously supersede the injection moulded engines that come with the kit. Well, the problem with these engines, which, you know, they're beautiful castings, don't get me wrong, but they're only designed to be seen from the front, and obviously that's not going to be much use if I want to. That's going to have it sit around about there. So obviously the second set of cylinders aren't actually represented in full. You can see them from the front, but you can't see them from the side. And as it turns out, in one of my other kits in the stash, the Corsair, the Birdcage Corsair, I'd already bought a whole load of aftermarket crap for it, which included the Ares R2800 Wasp, or double Wasp radial engine, which is used in what's it called again? The Hellcat. And the thing is, of course, I don't know if I'm going to detail the Corsair to this. I might, in which case I'll get another one of these. I mean, they're less than £10, so they're not exactly extravagant. But I have a 148 Thunderbolt there, which I could, again, I'll probably end up wanting to do something similar in it. But if I don't, I have places that I could use these, so they're not going to go to waste. But this is the rather beautiful Ares double Wasp radial engine that I'm going to be using. A very tricky piece of kit, to say the least, with all the exhaust manifolds and push rods and stuff, and even then I'm nowhere near finished detailing it. Still have the ignition harness to go. But yeah, I kind of started on everything all at once, the wheel wells and the gun bays. It's kind of a photo etched bonanza, as it were. So there's the little wheel wells. Now, anybody who's made photo etch will be able to testify to this. You know what it's like. You get the part on your tweezers, be it the dry run or when you've got glue on it, and you're just getting it just about in place, and then all of a sudden, bing, off it goes into the great unknown. Which is one of the reasons, kind of like why I've designed this place the way, you know, with white worktops, white walls, and a laminate flooring, so that anything that did go, you know, shooting off, I should be able to find it. Now the thing is, inside the wheel bays, there's these tiny little cross spars, cross members, whatever you want to call them, and it's one of those things that Edward actually gave you 2 or 3 extra because they probably have foreseen that you're going to lose a few, and indeed a couple did ping off, and you can sometimes hear them hitting something, so you kind of know which direction to look at. I managed to find that every single one of them, and there was about 3 of them that pinged off like that. Also in the wheel well is a hook. In the Hellcat's wheel well there's this hook, which obviously secures the landing gear strut when it's retracted. I was working with it just here, just right here, like this, and I dropped it, what, 4 inches, just gravity, just there, gone. It's nowhere to be seen, and it's a big piece of photo etch, so it's not like I could do that and it'll go flying off somewhere. But anyway, the joys of photo etch. I should be able to make one of these from brass sheet or something. But so that's the wheel wells. The gun bays, I was going to just do one gun bay and keep the other gun bay, because you only get enough gun bays for one complete aircraft, whereas you get 2 sets of wheel wells, 2 resin engines, blah blah blah, 2 sets of photo etch with a cockpit, but they only give you 1 gun bay set, and it's a port and a starboard that comes in the set. And I was going to just do one with this one, which is going to be that the 2-tone or 3-tone navy colour scheme, and keep this other one for whatever variant I do on the other Hellcat. But because I've decided now to super detail this one, I thought, what the heck, and just stuck them both in this one. I think for the other Hellcat, whenever I get around to doing it, I'm going to do one of the Night Fighter versions in the sort of the glossy midnight blue, be it the French, which has, looks quite nice, the Indochina one, or the US Navy one with the radar pod. And I don't think I'll sort of do any additional detailing to that, keeping it a nice, plain, simple, uniform overall finish. But I'll go to town on this one, so that's why I've decided to put both sets of gun bays in. I have ordered those master brass barrels, which in hindsight was probably a bit of a silly thing to do, because obviously most of them are going to be hidden. And also they have drilled barrels, the jackets on the barrels are drilled, and I think there's little sleeves where the muzzles come out of the wings. There's actually little sleeves on them, which kind of covers them up anyway, but I don't know, we'll see how we go on with that. But I've also riveted the fuselage and the wings, because the Hellcat is a heavily riveted aircraft. I'm still trying to figure out how to get that stressed skin look. Very difficult using bare plastic. I was going to use a foil, cover it in foil and then rivet it in the hope that you'll create a slight rippling effect. I mean, I don't know whether maybe put some, like maybe Mr. Surfacer or Mr. Dissolve Putty over the entire surface so that it's kind of a slightly uneven look to it, but I haven't had the courage to do that yet. I might have to just buy a cheap kit and have a go with that, but we'll see anyway. But yeah, I've managed to find a couple of online walkarounds for the Hellcat, which has helped greatly to show the detail of the aircraft and what I really need to do. As it also happens, next weekend I'm going down to Telford with the guys from the club to the Scale Model World Model Show, which is supposedly the biggest in the world. It's certainly the biggest in Europe, and I'll stock up on lots of scratch building materials, aluminium tubing, brass sheeting, probably more evergreen strip and tubing, you know, something to make tubing. I've got to come up with something for the exhaust manifolds to the actual exhaust outlet. Usually I use lead wiring, this plus model stuff. The only problem with lead wiring is as you're manipulating it, being the soft metal, you tend to leave marks in the surface. So I'd like to see if I can get something that's pliable, well, obviously not as pliable, but something that's pliable enough, but is hard enough that it doesn't deform in any way, that's going to be quite a complicated one to try and come up with. Hey, that's what it's all about. So that's kind of where I am with the Hellcat at the moment. I have absolutely no idea where I'll be with it come the next video, but